Hi, this is Brian. Welcome back to another Optimize video. Today we're going to talk about how to optimize your prosperity with more wisdom and less time. As always, we've got a collection of philosopher's notes N+1s that are distilled into this 101 class. We have now covered a range of subjects that you can optimize in your life, from ancient wisdom, modern science, mental toughness, habits, sleep, stoicism, and a bunch of others. Excited to talk prosperity today. But first, quick context for those who are just hearing about Optimize. Optimize is all about more wisdom and less time. We have all of these categories in which we can help you optimize your lives via a collection of philosopher's notes, which I'll tell you more about, which are 6-page PDF distillations of the best big ideas from 600 of the best books on personal growth. And then we have 50 101 classes, which are 60-minute long classes. Optimize Plus Ones are short form little micro lessons, all for free. Used to be a premium offering, $100 a year, $250 lifetime. It's now free as part of my new company, Heroic's acquisition of Optimize. We are excited to unlock Optimize and help catalyze our heroic movement. No strings attached. No ads, no credit card required, no spam, blah, blah, blah. It is free. We hope you love it. So we have a 101, Abundance 101. And what's funny is, so the subtitle of the class is How to Create True Wealth by Wisely Investing in You Inc., plus the best way to become a billionaire. In this context, we're talking about a psychological billionaire, but also embracing the importance of financial abundance, etc. But I did this class after doing 25 other classes because this should not be the starting point. Even if you want to make a lot of money and do all of those traditional things on the material level, which again are important, but even if that was your number one goal, you'd still be wiser to start with your own consciousness, to become the type of person who has mastered these different domains. Mental toughness, habits, sleep, purpose, leadership, focus, goal setting, productivity, meditation, nutrition, fitness. Get good at all of those things, then channel that energy into creating wealth such that you can serve even more profoundly. That's my philosophy on wealth creation. We'll talk about that some more and some of the teachers that have influenced me on this subject. First and foremost is Eric Butterworth. So I've had a lot of ambivalence around my own ambition, around money, raised Catholic, which contributed to the whole challenge. But how do I interact with kind of the material plane, money, ambition, etc.? Eric Butterworth helped me resolve a lot of my ambivalence. Beautiful, beautiful man and teacher who was he was Maya Angelou's primary spiritual teacher. He wrote one of Oprah's favorite books, Discover the Power Within You, which we have also featured. Just an amazing 21st or 20th century minister, etc. He helps us define spiritual economics. And this quote here, again, this is a passage from his book, as we've discussed for those that are already familiar, but if you're brand new, each philosopher's note features a series of big ideas. You can read it on the web or you can read it via a PDF. My preferred form is via the PDF. 6 pages. I record that as a 20-minute MP3. Again, you can read that on the web. You can read that on our app, etc. But this quote here is my number one go-to on all things related to financial abundance. What I'm going to encourage you to consider as you create your own philosophy for creating material abundance in your life. Eric Butterworth tells us, the goal should not be to make money or acquire things, but to achieve the consciousness through which the substance will flow forth when and as you need it. Think about that. The goal should not be to make money or acquire things per se, but to achieve the consciousness through which the substance will flow forth when and as you need it. That's a superpower. To be able to say, I need this in order to create in my life, boom, and you can flip a switch and you can make it happen. Personally, striving to be a demonstration of that is one of my biggest goals with Heroic. We were blessed to make history as the first company to ever close a $5 million crowdfunded, regulation crowdfunding round on the new regulations. They went from $1 million to $5 million. We were the first to ever raise $5 million via those regulations as part of an $11 million round. And one of the things I'm most proud of is it felt like a demonstration of this thought. I have not made money my primary thing. I have tried to become worthy of leading and teaching and inspiring others to be their best selves. And when I decided we needed the resources in order to go out and do what we hope to be heroic things, I was able to have that substance, and I have goosebumps right now, flow forth from the support of 2,500 people from 75 countries around the world. It's been unbelievably inspiring to see the support come through and to see the fact that this works. Like when we have that groundedness in virtue and commitment to the ideas we're going to talk about today, some really powerful things can happen. So that's my first go-to. We could spend literally a weekend talking about just that book, but check out The Philosopher's Note. Of course, we talk about that a lot in Abundance 101. And then the second note here, you'll see it just changed. It was Wealth Warrior, and then it became So Good They Can't Ignore You. Our team behind the scenes, go Michael, go Mel, just updated this because I wanted to go in an order here. And again, most people start with Think and Grow Rich, which is a great book. Lots of value there, or Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Again, great book, etc. But I like to start with the spiritual side of things and then be so good they can't ignore you. If there was one rule for creating wealth in the world, Cal Newport nailed it in this book. He says a lot of people, follow a passion mindset where they're out following their bliss and doing what they love to do, which is important, but it's not enough, right? You need to follow what he calls a craftsman mindset, where you're striving to become so good that people can't ignore you. This is, we'll open this PDF as well. This is a line from Steve Martin. So Steve Martin was asked, hey, how'd you become such a successful comedian? What'd you do? And how can I do it too? And he jokingly says, everyone wants to hear, okay, go get an agent and then you go do this and this is how you negotiate your gigs and stuff like that. That's the answer they want to hear. They don't want to hear the answer I give them, which is go become so good they can't ignore you. When you are so good they can't ignore you, you'll be in a good shot and you'll see that the things you need come into play. It's exactly what Eric Butterworth said in his own spiritual context. Get the consciousness through which money and material resources flow through when and as you need them. Be so good they can't ignore you. Focus on mastering your craft so you can create an extraordinary amount of value in the world. Boom. The rest will take care of itself. We've got My Country Living going on right now. Let's go back, folks. Oh, we went back to, perfect. We'll go back through this list. There we go. Prosperity, book number 3. So we've got, and now it actually changed because it went back to an unrefreshed mode. Perfect. We have Spiritual Economics. We've got So Good They Can't Ignore You. Then we've got Wealth Warrior. So I have worked with Phil Stutz. He's my beloved coach, honorary spiritual godfather, just a great human being who's been doing this for 50 years. And over the last 5 years, he's been distilling his wisdom into me. We meet 2 times a week now for the last year. And he is my secret weapon for accelerating my own personal growth. Great coaches can do so much for us, which makes me think of our coaching program. We've worked with 3,500 people from 95 countries around the world now in our Mastery Series coach program. Check that out. But before I worked with Phil, I worked with Steve Chandler for years. Steve, another great guy and great thinker, he wrote this great book called Wealth Warrior. The basic idea behind Wealth Warrior is create wealth via profound service. Wealth via profound service. That's how we want to think about creating wealth and prosperity in our lives, and what we talk about in that note. So that's our third note. Check it out. Again, we can spend all day just talking about this. You want wealth? Perfect. Serve more. I think I've got a Nietzsche quote in here at the bottom, which was one of my favorites. Is this one in here? Nope. That one I think was in a different one. Anyway, check out that note. Wealth Warrior. Moving on. in the fourth slot here, we have the psychology of hope. Now, why I put this one here in the list is the word prosperity, etymologically, Eric Butterworth tells us, the word prosperity has nothing to do with money per se. Prospere is I think it's the Latin origin, maybe it's Greek. It means to go forward with hope. To be prosperous is not a sign of the status of your bank account. It's the status of your consciousness. Are you going forward with hope? That literally is what prosperity etymologically means. So if we want to be prosperous, we need to get our hope up. If you are not feeling hopeful in your life, you're bankrupt, independent of what your bank balance may say. And if your bank balance is suffering, then it's even more important that you're able to create hope in your life. We talk about the 3 aspects of the science of hope in this note. Super powerful stuff. Highly recommend you check that out. James Allen wrote As a Man Thinketh, which is a great book that could easily be in this category as well. But he wrote another book called The 8 Pillars of Prosperity. And this thing is like this thick. And I delayed doing notes on it because it was going to take me forever to read like a 1,000-page book or something like that, a collection of his essays. And then I said, you know what, I'm just going to pull out, the book was called Mind is the Master, the complete James Allen treasury. So I just pulled out this one essay, great ideas on prosperity, check it out. Of course, Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, which inspired The Secret. And there's a whole nother conversation around The Secret that we have a lot in our work together. It's not enough, short story, to just imagine your ideal. You need to, science says, rub that up against reality. Check out the notes on rethinking positive thinking. You've got to see the obstacles. A lot of people say, no, don't think about the obstacles that might get in the way. Your mind will just attract those obstacles. Science says that's nonsense. The most successful among us, yes, they start with their wish of what they want to see. Very important that you can dream. Then they rub it up against reality. They see the obstacles that will inevitably arise, and by thinking of them, you don't manifest them. You create a plan to deal with them. Again, rethinking positive thinking is the note where we talk about that. But it's super important to know what you want, and this book is amazing. Wallace D. Wattles, best name ever. Yeah, and best titles for books. So he's got The Science of Getting Rich. He's also got another book called The Science of Being a Genius or something like that. Check that out in our collection. You know, you can't talk about prosperity without talking about Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read that book yet, then check out the note. If you're feeling inspired, go deep. Ray Dalio, one of the most successful, wealthiest people on the planet. Let's pay attention to what he has to say. In Principles, he walks us through his success formula, which very importantly starts with a huge, ambitious goal. And then the next step is failure. You set a big goal and then you fail. And he says you want to get so good at going through this process that you get excited when you fail. Then you use that data to get better and you constantly spiral up. Now, if you're imagining everything coming to fruition on your vision board without any effort and certainly without any failure, then good luck. You're going to stop the moment you run into a problem and think something's wrong with you or your goal. This is a growth mindset, which we talk a lot about in these notes. Dalio, again, one of the most successful, influential, wealthiest people on the planet, says, no. You want to get so excited about making mistakes that you get a mistake learner's high because it's all data. There's no such thing as failure per se. Failure is just giving up on everything, but otherwise, it's all data. Learn. Get a little bit better, evolve each step of the way. Dave Ramsey's awesome. The Total Money Makeover. We feature another one of his books we talk about in the business category. You know, but he's not really old school, but old school. Look, get out of debt. There's no way you're going to create prosperity in your life, a sense of hope and true financial abundance if you're in debt. And particularly if you're in debt for silly things, you know, if you're investing in your business or whatever, you can make a case for that. But if you're getting debt from over-consuming commercial stuff, take care of that. Total Money Makeover and act like you mean it. He's awesome in his intensity to create that abundance. T. Harv Eker, great ideas here in The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Get your mind right? Your reality is going to follow your thoughts and behaviors. So master the inner game of wealth. Tons of big ideas in there. Deepak Chopra, We got a bunch of notes on his great books. This is a tiny little book, super pithy, great stuff. He tells a great story in this one on the two goddesses of wealth, Lakshmi and Sarasvati. Pardon my mispronunciation if I did subtly there. Open to the coaching. But these two goddesses of wealth, one represents wealth, Lakshmi. The other is knowledge, Sarasvati, right? If you chase the goddess of wealth, she'll run away from you. You won't get her. But if you chase the goddess of knowledge, wealth will chase you. It's exactly what we talked about in the beginning. Get your consciousness right. Seek to become the type of person worthy of that abundance. And then you flip the switch and it comes to you when and as you need it. And then you're not obsessed about it. You're not manically chasing it, thinking that's what's going to make you happy. Hint, it isn't. And you can create true wealth in a psychological sense, etc. So, and in a material sense. Alan Cohen, great teacher from Finding Joe, which we mentioned in Purpose. If you haven't watched that yet, he's the first teacher that comes on before Deepak Chopra, Laird Hamilton, Tony Hawk. I happen to be in the documentary Finding Joe on the hero's journey, etc. I met him via that movie, and then I fell in love with him and his work. This is a great book. He's low-key, relax, into wealth. He says he's got some great ideas. Back to Steve Chandler for a couple. Fearless. We want to cultivate a level of courage. It's never about removing fear completely, but that virtue of courage. You're willing to act in the presence of fear. Boom, let's go. And you create powerfully. That was our 7th note on one of his books. And you make things crazy good. Our standard with Optimize is whether it's Steve Jobs's, insanely great, or we want to astonish people with value. We want you to experience what we do as a business and say, are you serious? When we used to charge $10 a month or $100 a year or whatever, $250 lifetime for Optimize, our goal was we want to astonish you. We're not the ones out trying to charge the most and give the least. We wanted to give the best to the most for the least. So we hope that when you interact with us via Optimize and Heroic and our coach program, that you say, wow, that's astonishing, which literally means to strike with lightning or to thunder. We want you to feel, boom, that's crazy good, is the name of Steve Chandler's book that captures this. And we were working together while he was writing this. Great book. Check it out. That's the standard. So good they can't ignore you. Crazy good. Insanely great. That's the type of value we want to deliver in the world if we want to prosper. Outperforming your contract is one of the ways that the sports psychologists put it. A great football player or athlete, they want to outperform their contract. Boom, I'm always doing more than what's expected of me. Isaiah Hankel, Black Hole Focus, great book. Old School, The Magic of Thinking Big. Again, we want to dream big and then we want to act big as well with the little things. This book is super inspiring. How successful people think. John Maxwell, one of the most successful, prolific, read personal growth authors ever. 25 million copies of his book sold. This is a fantastic short little book. Check out the note. Alan Cohen again, Spirit Means Business. Great book. The Millionaire Fastlane. MJ DeMarco, fun book on this. Creating high leverage assets rather than playing everyone's normal game, etc. The Diamond Cutter, bringing Buddhist strategies to life in your business. Fascinating read. The Entrepreneurial Rollercoaster by Darren Hardy, the former, I don't know if he still is, publisher of Success Magazine, who also wrote a book called The Compound Effect. Entre Leadership, another book by Dave Ramsey. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. She's got a great book and a great idea in here of every bill that comes in, don't curse it, bless it. Say, you know what? They trusted me to have enough resources to send them some money for my water or for my electricity or for fill in the blank. Whatever services you're receiving, we want to bless the opportunity to circulate our abundance right back into the stream. We don't want to get stingy and miserly. As Eric Butterworth says in Spiritual Economics, the word affluence means literally abundant flow. Affluence, it's an abundant flow. Don't hoard your resources. Give them like you're breathing. Circulate them into the world as you move forward with hope. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, classic. Check that out. Money and the Law of Attraction, Esther and Jerry Hicks. I've got a bit of an allergy to the whole channeled wisdom thing, but there's a ton of wisdom in here. I also have a bit of an allergy to the Law of Attraction thing, partial truths to it, but really powerful book. Great ideas in there. And then It's Not About the Money by an old friend, Brent Kessel, financial planner, talking about properly framing our relationship to money so we tap into our spiritual and financial abundance. Tons of books, dozens of books distilled into this one class. Let's go there. In which I share 10 of my favorite big ideas. We have the 10 chapters you can click on. We have a workbook over here in which our designer has sketched out the notes. I also share my notes. You can download the MP3. My wife did a meditation. She also did affirmations. But we've got a fun sketch artist that did some great work on these 10 ideas, and then worksheets to help you, bring the wisdom into your life. So here's the science of the psychological wealth worksheet, in which you can, look at how some of the leading positive psychologists measure your wealth psychologically. Positive affect minus negative affect plus life satisfaction plus flourishing. Check out the class for more. And then we've got the other ideas there. So that's the 101. And then in addition to the 101, we also have these notes, of course. And then we've got a collection of dozens of optimized plus ones, in which I talk about some of the ideas we just covered in discrete short form context. 2, 3, 5 minutes. A lot of people love these as the preferred source of wisdom. Others prefer the notes. Others prefer the longer form classes. Perfect. Figure out what yours is, and then go get your wisdom on. More wisdom in less time. And this is getting long, but that's the overview. Powerful subject. Again, highly encourage you to consider approaching your prosperity on the foundation of an integration of all of this other wisdom. What are we going to do next? Let me look at the old whiteboard. We're going to cover business next. That works. We'll do business next. So I'm a huge fan of conscious capitalism. John Mackey, the CEO of Whole Foods, has been a friend and mentor for like 15 years at this point, invested in my last business. I talk about some ideas that I've learned in the conscious capitalism community. I wrote a chapter in a book that John published as part of their conscious capitalism movement years ago. But we'll look at some of my favorite notes and then also some of my favorite ideas, plus one wise, on how to integrate conscious capitalism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So more on that soon. For now, back to the top, optimize.me. Let's optimize every aspect of our life with more wisdom and less time so we can go out and be the best, most heroic versions of ourselves today. Make today an awesome day. Look forward to sharing more soon. See you.